Hello and welcome everyone. In this video I'm going to be doing my 2024 presidential election prediction, and this video it's going to be a hypothetical race or match between the current Vice President Kamala Harris, who will be facing off in this video the former President Donald Trump, who's expected to be the Republican Party's nominee if the indictments don't get in his way. Now this video is going to be more of a hypothetical matchup in a scenario where Biden has to step out of office because, or he steps down for another term because of health reasons, which at this point it's a very good possibility of actually happening, as we got some rumors. Now, is it going to happen as of right now? No. Biden is in fact seeking a second term, but in a scenario, in a hypothetical where he does have to step down and Kamala Harris takes a spot, she's gonna have to go up against Donald Trump. And it's a good possibility that does happen, considering, Biden's age, but will it happen? I don't know. It's a hypothetical for now. So let's begin with this prediction between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. Now, Kamala Harris is, the vice president, and Kamala Harris is a person that, in which Democratic voters actually did not want her to be the nominee in 2020. So she's very unpopular amongst her own party, as she is going down. Her approval ratings is actually one of the worst out of all vice presidents in history, and so she did horrible in the Democratic primaries back in 2019 and 2020. So her own party didn't vote for her, meaning they don't want her. She actually got lucky. The only reason she has her name recognition is because Joe Biden chose her. That's the only reason why. She got lucky because Biden chose her. Now, her own party, Democratic voters, did not want Kamala Harris to be the nominee back in 2020. So, in a hypothetical where she does have to replace Joe Biden in 2024, Democratic voters, she's not going to be very much popular with them. So that's already a disadvantage, and that's going to be an advantage for Trump looking into this prediction. Now, I already had filled in the safe states and solid states for Republicans and Democrats. Now I'm going to fill in the likely states for Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. Now, I think Iowa's going to be safe. I think Ohio's going to be likely for Donald Trump. I don't think Ohio's, don't get me wrong, is a very red Republican state, but I don't think it's, a deep Republican state. I don't think it should be safe because you saw what happened with Ohio issue 1. It's just not a safe Republican state. Now it is likely. So I think Ohio will be likely for Trump. I think they should vote for him by around 9 to 10 percentage points against Kamala Harris specifically. Now, this is not Joe Biden. This is Kamala Harris. So I think Trump should easily win Ohio by around 10 points. Likely it's a safe margin. You can argue that it is safe for Trump. Ohio is. And then another likely state for Donald Trump would actually be the state of Florida. You can also argue Florida would be safe for Trump, but considering the margin he won it back in 2020, I don't think it's safe. I think it's, kind of likely. I expect Trump to do better in the Miami area. I don't think Kamala Harris will appeal to some of these voters. I just don't think it's going to happen. Florida's a very red Republican state. It's a trendy Republican state. It's soon going to be a safe Republican state if it's not already is. So yeah, Florida's the lost cause for Democrats, especially Kamala Harris. It's not going to be even close. So Donald Trump should dominate Kamala Harris in the state of Florida in this matchup scenario for 2024, and then Texas should also be likely for Donald Trump. I don't think that Texans really like the way Kamala Harris handles things at the southern border. When she went there, it was just a disaster. It was an embarrassment. The way she laughs is just cringe. That's what some Republicans say. And yeah, that's pretty much all the likely states for Donald Trump for the 2024 presidential election between Kamala Harris and Trump. Now, the likely states for Kamala Harris would be New Mexico. That's still a very blue state in my opinion. Colorado will also be likely for Kamala Harris. I just don't think Trump is going to win those states, especially Colorado. I think New Mexico could maybe be a little bit closer, but Colorado is definitely not going to Trump. I don't think it's going to be even close. It's just very Democratic states. Now, New Mexico, I could see it actually being closer than Colorado, but I think Colorado is more to the left than New Mexico is. And I also do think that the state of Virginia will be likely for Kamala Harris. You could actually argue it's lean. I think it's actually going to be lean. You can argue lean to likely. I just think if it was Biden, Democrats would win Virginia with a greater margin. But because this is a Kamala Harris scenario, I think it'll be closer for Donald Trump. I think it's going to lean towards Kamala Harris. She's very unpopular amongst people in her own party too. They did not want her to be the nominee in 2020, and if she does end up being the nominee in 2024, she's going to be very disapproved of by even not the folks on the up, not her opponents, but she's disapproved of by her own political party as well. She's just an unpopular vice president overall in all aspects, pretty much. So now we have the likely states out of the way. Moving on to the lean states. Lean states for Kamala Harris: Virginia. I think Minnesota could be lean for Kamala Harris as well. And New Hampshire. I think New Hampshire will be lean for Kamala Harris as well. Now for New Hampshire, it's a pro-choice state, and Donald Trump is a pro-life candidate. That does not match very well. Typically, I say this time and time again, pro-life candidates do not do well in pro-choice states. Donald Trump is a pro-life candidate trying to win a pro-choice state. In this case, New Hampshire. I just don't think that's going to happen. Pro-life candidates typically do not do well in pro-choice states, and in this case, it's going to be New Hampshire. So I think Kamala Harris is going to defeat Donald Trump in the state of New Hampshire specifically, with a lean margin, maybe around 3 to 4 percentage points. Not too shabby for the vice president, Kamala Harris. As for Minnesota, I just think Republicans are just not good at winning, Minnesota. When's the last time they even won Minnesota? A long time ago. And I just don't think it's going to be in 2024. I just don't think Minnesota will possibly be, it could be close, but I just don't see it like going to Trump. I just think it's going to lean towards Kamala Harris's favor, and I don't think Trump is going to do that well in Minnesota. He did well in Minnesota in 2016, but he didn't in 2020. Now, let's see what he would do in 2024. I think Kamala Harris should win Minnesota by around 4 percentage points. And I don't think she's going to win it with a crazy margin, but I also don't think it's going to be too close, if you know what I'm saying. Now, moving on to the lean states for Donald Trump. I think North Carolina is going to be lean for Donald Trump. I think Wisconsin will also be lean for Donald Trump in a scenario where it's Kamala Harris. Now, if this was a Biden versus Trump rematch, then the map would be different. But because this is a Kamala Harris versus Trump 2024 election, that's when I tell you Wisconsin will be lean for Donald Trump. Now, this is Biden. The map will look way different than what I have it looking like right now. But because of this Kamala Harris, she's just not the best candidate. And this is a hypothetical, which at this point it could very well happen. It's looking. There's a very good shot that this hypothetical does actually happen, because Joe Biden could actually step down considering his age. So this is not a definitely not happening scenario between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. This can actually very well happen. So that's why I'm actually doing this video, because this scenario could very well happen. If this scenario wouldn't happen between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, I wouldn't do this video. But because there's a good possibility it does, I'm here making a prediction. So I think Wisconsin's going to heavily reject Kamala Harris. She's not going to appeal to anyone there. I think the white working blue collar voters is going to go to Trump. It's going to swing in his favor. I don't think no one likes Kamala Harris in Wisconsin. And as far as North Carolina, I think she does even worse. I think Trump should win North Carolina by around 2 to 3 percentage points, facing up Kamala Harris. Now, if this was Joe Biden, like I mentioned earlier, the map would look way different. So I expect Wisconsin to go to Trump by around 1 to 2 percentage points, lean margin, and then every state remaining is going to be either tilt for Kamala Harris or tilt for Trump. We have the lean states out of the way. Now, moving on to the tilt states for Kamala Harris, I think she's going to win Michigan by a tilt margin. I don't think Trump is going to win Michigan. I think the only shot Trump really had to win Michigan is probably in 2016. I think he got lucky there. I don't think he's going to do it in 2024. Joe Biden won Michigan in 2020 with a margin around 2.5 percentage points. I think Kamala Harris should win Michigan. Obviously, there's a chance that she actually does lose Michigan to Donald Trump if this were to be the case between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. I think Trump can definitely win Michigan as he did in 2016. He very well can, just like how he did in 2016. But I think Kamala Harris should win it. Now, will Kamala Harris win it with the same margin that Biden won in 2020? No, it's going to be way closer. I think under a percentage point, maybe 0.4, 0.5, 0.6. Under a percentage point for Kamala Harris. I think she'll narrowly win the state. It will almost go to Donald Trump if this were to be the matchup scenario. Now, Donald Trump. In a matchup between Kamala Harris. Nevada is going to tilt for Donald Trump. I think Arizona will vote and flip back to Donald Trump's column, as well as Georgia. I think Georgia will be going to Donald Trump if he would be facing Kamala Harris, and as well as Pennsylvania. I think Donald Trump wins 297 electoral votes to Kamala Harris's 241 electoral votes. I think Kamala Harris will not appeal to anyone in Pennsylvania. She's not popular at all, like in any aspect. She's just not. And especially in Arizona, I think the way she handled the border, I think a lot of people in Arizona will just not like the way she did that, and then they will vote for Trump. And as far as Nevada goes, pretty much all of Nevada is Republican. If you take a look at northern Nevada, it's very red. Some of these rural areas up in Nevada, the only thing keeping Republicans back ultimately from winning the state of Nevada is just the Vegas area, which if Trump can peel off some support away from Kamala Harris into his favor in the Vegas area, he should win Nevada with a tilt margin around 1 percentage point. And then as far as Georgia goes, some people say, oh, Kamala Harris can appeal to some of the African-American support, and she'll get them to turn out like they did in 2020. No. Whether Kamala Harris is African-American or not, she's not going to appeal to them. I just don't think it's going to happen. Considering the economy, considering her popularity, even if she's black, she's not going to appeal to that base because she's just so bad of a candidate, if you get what I'm saying. So there you guys go. This is my 2024 presidential hypothetical matchup scenario between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. Now, this scenario could actually end up happening in a case where Biden does step out. 297 for Trump. He will be elected for his last and final term. Kamala Harris will get crushed 241 electoral votes. Now, if this was Biden versus Trump, the map would look way different. Biden would actually narrowly win, in my opinion. But because this is Kamala Harris, Trump should easily win out the Electoral College. So let me know your thoughts and opinions on these states in the comment section below. What states you agree with, what states you disagree with, and the margins as well. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on those notifications as we are about to hit 500 subscribers. Thanks for watching.